Hi, it's John Bennetts here from Total Rockstar Blueprint, and in this video for our musician series interviews, I'm actually going to talk to you about what drummers need to do when preparing for a gig. So when we're preparing for a gig, the areas we need to focus on are practicing, rehearsals, pre-gig preparation, sound checks, and the gig itself. So we'll start off with practicing. And the first thing you need to remember is the drummer is the backbone of the band. Now, you're the person the band rely on for your timing and your energy, so it's really important that you have that stuff together. The other thing is you need to form a strong bond with the bass player. You guys need to drive the rhythm section of the band, so this is really important. And practicing is about being on the top of your game. Timing is one of the most important things, and it's a good idea to practice with a metronome or a drum machine. Now, this will help you to develop a deep understanding of tempo, and it's also good to find some anchor points. Now, the anchor points I find are 100 or 120 beats per minute, just so that you really understand what those tempos are. The next aspect of practicing is rudiments. Now, rudiments are the foundations of your instrument. They will help you strengthen your fingers and your wrists. They'll help you also develop your speed, your precision, and you'll get better creativity and control. I start with my metronome at 60 BPM, do all my rudiments, and then I'll bump it up to 70 BPM, and so on all the way up until I get my maximum speed. So at the end of the day, your metronome will actually give you an accurate progress feedback. You'll know how fast you can go to do all your rudiments. Now, I was a self-taught drummer, and it took me some time before I got into books. I did some lessons, learned how to read, and then I just gobbled up book after book. The fantastic things about books are they have exercises and rhythms that I wouldn't normally think of. And I get to learn something new every day, and that was really fantastic when I started to get stuck. So again, like with the rudiments, I'd start with my metronome at 60 beats per minute, then I'd increase the tempo, go through all my exercises so I could play the whole page that I was working on at the fastest speed with the most accuracy I could possibly have. And again, that also gave me my daily development feedback. The next part of practicing is practicing the songs from your set list. Now, I would always repeat these until I nailed them completely. And when you're practicing your songs to a metronome, in your head, you'll hear all the other instruments. So you get to understand each of the roles that each instrument will play in every song. My daily routine breakdown, well, rudiments was between an hour and a half. Playing from books, that was about an hour to an hour and a half. And then playing through the songs on my set list, that was about an hour to 2 hours. It's really important that you get a regime and you really stick to it. I did that 5 days a week. I think it's really important for drummers to exercise a lot. Now, if you go for a run in the morning, if you go for a bike ride, or you go for a swim, just do something. My routine, I did 6 days a week, even when I was on tour. On day one, I'd be in the gym for an hour and a half doing free weights. Second day, I'd be at the swimming pool doing minimum of 16 laps, up to 40 laps. Next day, the gym. Day 4 in the pool, and so on. You need to hit the stage running, and you need to be fit, and you need to be able to play solidly for an hour and a half or however long your gig's going to go for. At rehearsals, if you're doing cover songs, really you just need to know the songs before you go to rehearsal. Write down the arrangements, the tempo and the arrangement is really important. Record the rehearsal, then you can take that home and you can analyze your playing, fix any of the problem areas. If you're playing your own music, then when someone brings along a song, listen to the feel of the guitar player, the bass player, or the keyboard player, and then create your groove from the meaning of the words and also from the energy of the guitar and the other instruments. My advice here is to create a simple groove first. This allows everybody to be able to create all their parts and then record the rehearsal, and then you can analyze what you're doing at home and can change any of your grooves. The same thing goes with doing all your fills. Now, your fills make an announcement. They're the gear change into the next section. They'll lift and build the arrangement. So when you're doing these, make sure you don't get in the way of the vocals or anything that's hooky that's going on, or make sure you're working with the bass player and the guitar player. One of my best pieces of advice for you is to take some time out to discuss the song with the bass player. You guys need to get on top of what you're doing. So if you have a discussion about it, sometimes it can save you a lot of time. You know, work out, is the vocal the main part of the song, and we just have to sit back and truck underneath and create a nice bed and groove for that to work in? Or is it something that's going to be really complex? Work it out, talk about it. Pre-gig preparation. Choosing sticks is really important. I always went through and hand-picked all my sticks for straightness, for weight and grain. I'd have one stick that was perfect, then I'd use a drum pad and test all the other sticks against that. Check all your drum heads for dents or splits, and use a brush to make sure you clean around the edges and get all the dust out of the thing. If you kick drum pedal, make sure your screws and nuts are tight and it's lubricated. Same thing with the hi-hat pedal. Screws, nuts are tight, make sure it's lubricated. Your cymbal stands, felts, toppers and your fittings, just make sure all those things are in order. It's always good to have spare felts and toppers as well, and any of your spare fittings. Make sure you keep those in your stick bag as well. If you clean your drums and cymbals regularly, you really keep an eye on what's going on with your kit. You get to see all your fittings, and if there's going to be any problem areas, you can fix them way in advance. At the sound check, set up your kit exactly how you want it to be. If the lights go down and you're playing in the dark, you're doing something complex, you need to know exactly where everything is in your kit. And be near the bass stack. You need to hear the bass. If you're going to be a distance apart from each other, then your foldback is going to be really important here. Things in your foldback, have your kick drum, have some bass guitar in there. It's also good to have a little bit of snare drum. If the bass player or guitar player comes near you or anywhere near the kit, then they can hear a really strong groove coming from the kit. You also need to have lead vocal, so if the vocalist says stop or bring it down, you just need to know what's going on all the time. If you're singing, your vocal and the other vocalist who are doing harmonies, you need to be able to hear them really well. Now for the gig, I always make sure I have a spare snare drum and a kick pedal. There's nothing worse when a snare head goes, you break a snare wire, or your kick drum pedal falls apart. Just have spares. It's well worth it to have them. Just do it. I always do warm-up stretches and get highly energized, jog on the spot, go for a run, whatever. Be really warm before you hit the stage. Hit the stage running. Do any exercise you can do to warm up your fingers and wrists as well. And it's probably a good idea to use a metronome to get the tempo of the first song. Look, when you arrive at a gig, you're going to be in different mood every day. This can really determine the tempo that you actually start out on. You don't want to start off too fast, you don't want to start off too slow. So if you can nail that first song at exactly right tempo, the rest of the gig will go well for you. Food before a gig, my advice here is to eat light before the gig. Just eat a salad, eat something really lightweight. Eat something that's, provides you some energy, banana, any sort of energy foods. Because, look, heavy foods will slow you down and it's just not worth doing. You can always eat after the gig. And finally, have an awesome gig. Thanks for watching this video from our musician interview series. Now we've got loads of information coming your way, great tips from awesome musicians. So to stay up to date with our future videos, simply click the button to subscribe to our channel and I'll see you in the next video.